Boing, boing, ding, 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 ding. Okay, no. Hello everybody and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we are going to be doing another upgrade to the Mirage. Now guys, I had the pleasure of going to Gatlinburg, Tennessee just under a month ago. Now, if y'all don't know about what happens in Gatlinburg around this time of year, it's an event called Slammed Enough. Now, Slammed Enough is about the lowest of the low cars, basically all the show you can do, extra camber, extra low, scraping the road, anything you can basically do to get as low as possible. I ended up going to, see what it's about. I went with my sister and her boyfriend and a couple other friends, and we had an amazing time. Now, if you haven't been on the internet or in the car community internet at all, you would have never heard anything about this show. But if you have been on the internet and in the car community, you would know that Slammed Enough got canceled.
This is
The youngsters, I know you're having fun. Let's have fun myself.
your breath and
Stuff like that. That's a road track.
Now, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you would look at it, I didn't go to the show. I didn't go onto the strip, and I 100% never went to Jimmy's. It was hectic, it was traffic, it was chaos all over the place over there. But the roads, I gotta tell y'all about the roads. Going through the roads up there in Gatlinburg and then being only an hour away from Tail of the Dragon with this car, y'all really thought I wasn't gonna go to Tail of the Dragon? I 100% went to Tail of the Dragon. And I gotta say, with all the upgrades and modifications we've done to the Mirage, Tail of the Dragon and this car might as well have made love and had a baby. I'm telling you right now, this car on Tail of the Dragon was keeping up with a M3 competition, which was in a group of people that I was with. I was with I believe a G70 and a M3 competition. I was just in a group of two people. There were a lot of Honda Fits up there too. I'm telling you, there was whole groups of Honda Fits, and of course I could keep up with those. But this car, I'm telling you, from the wheel and tire setup to the BC Racing coilovers and how I had them stiffened and this Ultra Racing sway bar, this car hugged those corners, guys. One thing disappointed me during that whole trip, and of course it had to be the stock brakes. I could feel and smell and just knew that I was absolutely torturing these brakes. I was not, there was no holdbacks on that road. If I had to pad slap this thing to get it home, I was going to pad slap it to get it home, because this was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and maybe not anymore, because I'm definitely going to be going back there one day and doing a video for you guys. But this car absolutely hated what I did to it on Tail of the Dragon, at least the brakes. Because when I got down from the mountain, not only were they smelly, I could feel the heat off of them, and there was a blue line in the rotor. They were squealing, they were into life anyway, but these were also the lowest of the low quality pad that you can get from Advanced Auto Parts. That gives you the most brake dust and the most bestest price, as my dad would say, the most bestest price. So what we are doing in today's video is we are going to be upgrading to the Powerstop Evolution Z24 brake kit. The brake kit includes a drilled and slotted rotors and front pads that are infused with carbon fiber. This is going to give us better heat dissipation, so then I can brake harder and faster for longer. Let's get right into it. And as y'all guys can already see, we are caking brake dust already. We have the cheapest of the cheap, and I don't think it was this rotor, I think it was the other rotor. Well, as you can see, there's just a lot of lines in these rotors. They are just wore out. I absolutely demolished them on Tail of the Dragon. The tires did great. The engine did great. Everything else about this car did amazing. Like, these tires, I mean, shoot. I barely even, I got them warm. And, of course, I couldn't have left there without a sticker and a license plate thingy. So, Tail of the Dragon, US 129, 3,818 curves in 11 minutes. And here is the box for a better look. These are carbon fiber ceramic performance pads, and these are the drilled and slotted rotors for the front of the vehicle. Now, the first thing that we're going to be doing with this is we are going to be testing the original brakes. We are going to be doing 40 to 0 test runs, just like we did with my 2019 Mirage, and then we're going to see what the performance is after we upgrade to the new brakes. We're going to bed them in, and we're going to hit them with the same 40 to 0 test. We're going to do a series of 4 40 to 0 tests per set of brakes. So this is the stock brakes with the cheapo pads, not the original Mitsubishi pads, but they will still give you a representation because not everybody wants to pay a bunch of money for pads. So let's get straight into it. As you guys can see, I have the Mirage right here. This is going to be our braking point. This is where the camera is going to be set up, and y'all are going to be seeing it stopping in this direction. I have 70 feet mapped out in 10-foot increments, okay? So when we stop the car, we'll be able to see just how far it takes to go from 40 miles an hour to 0 miles an hour on the stock brakes. Let's get straight into it. All right, guys, our first brake run, we are sitting at about right over 50 feet. So about 51 feet. There's 60 right there, and we are also going to be doing temperature, about 130 degrees. About 120, 130. All right, we're just over 50 feet here. So about maybe 59 if we're counting to the bumper. And we're at 100, 190, 160, 180. So I'd say an average of about 180 degrees. We're at 160, 170, 140, 160. So I would say around 180, 170 to 180 degrees. All right, guys, so we stopped at right at 60 feet. It seems like these pads are a lot more consistent than the old Mitsubishi pads. 198, 200, 200, so about 200 degrees. I'm not really feeling any fade right now. That's so weird. 180, 100, 205, there was 200 somewhere up here. 200, 208, 209. Yeah, so about 200 degrees. So we got one more braking test. Let's get straight into that. Starting to really smell them now. But for some reason, so if you go back and watch my 2019 Mitsubishi Mirage brake test video, oh, there's that line. Let's see. You go back and watch that video, you'll see that the original Mitsubishi pads get really hot really fast and they fade super quickly. But these, I don't know, these are like the base Duralast advanced auto brakes, and if anything they got better, even though they're super dusty and super cheap and crappy kind of. So about 230 degrees, we only gained 30 degrees, and we lost just about, I'd say about 5 feet almost, because there's the 50 line right there, there's the 60. So yeah, we're about at 56 feet. So between 50 and 60 feet for the past 4 runs, and only increasing in temperature about 130 degrees, that's really, really good. But we're still going to be upgrading to the drilled and slotted rotors with the carbon fiber ceramic pads for more consistent and more cool brakes. The first thing we're going to do is loosen the wheel. In my case, That is going to be a 19 millimeter and my wheel arm. The next thing we're going to do is jack up the car. For safety purposes, guys, I do recommend keeping the jack semi-lifted underneath the car, just so if the jack stand fails, which, unless I got it from Harbor Freight, it's not going to, but just in case, the jack is there to support the weight. If you have an impact or a drill, there's an easy and simple thing you can get that will help you take off your tires faster after they're already loose. I got this socket adapter kit for my impact, so then I could put sockets onto my impact. There we go. Got the socket up here. Now watch this. Boom. Pit stop. You know how long that would have took with this? Too long. Having lightweight wheels and a nice tire. Easy. Alright guys, so there's 2 bolts on the back of this caliper. It is going to be a 14 millimeter bolt. You're going to want to go ahead, crack those loose, and get those slide bolts out. I love me a good hammer. Now that's loose, we're going to do the bottom bolt now. Just in tight spaces like this, a hammer is very, very nice. There's slide bolt number 1. I'm going to keep them in the same position, and also I'm going to re-grease them because it looks like the grease that was on them is very minimal. I'm very, very interested. There's slide bolt number 2. Very, very, very interested to see what these rotors look like. Or not the rotors, the pads. I can do a better inspection after I get this off. I need the bracket off. I need the brake caliper off. Ooh, buddy. Still a little toasty because I just got back from the brake test. You can see where I got hot off that reflection right there. Slight glazing on the outer part of the pad. Otherwise, I mean, they're getting close to end of life, as you can see. But I mean, shoot, I don't know how many miles I have on these pads. I'll put that on screen, how many miles are on these pads compared to the last time, the original. So this will be how many miles were on these pads, and this is how many miles were on the original pads when I changed them. Now, one thing I don't like about changing brakes on this car is the this. I gotta get a flathead or something to get this out. And I don't know if y'all see that. Y'all see that purple? That's discoloration, I believe, or corrosion. I don't know what it is, but I would love to believe that I got the brakes hot enough to the point where, you know, the metal started changing colors. This is the other pad. Very, very even wear. You can see where the pad is actually starting to break apart in some places, but overall, pretty even wear. I'm very impressed for some Duralast brakes, the bare basic bone ones. These were not the expensive or the nice gold, Duralast gold or platinums or whatever. These were the bare basics. There we go. I don't live in a very snowy area, but as you know, we did get snow last year. Now, if you have high mileage like my vehicle, you may want to take the time to look at your boots and everything. I already know my boots are still good. My axles are still good. My tire rods and everything are still good because I just recently did a clutch swap on this car. It has only been about 6, 7, no, I'm joking. It's only been about, it's been almost 10,000 miles since the clutch job has been done. And everything looks good. Now I do want to take a closer look at these rotors. They definitely have grooves in them, even though not deep enough to the point where I can feel them. This is chipping of the actual brake rotor. That means debris or something got in here, or something happened to this brake disc. I don't know what it causes that, but other than that, I mean, it's just a consistent groove all the way around. A slight discoloration maybe I see a slight blue tinge. I don't know if y'all can see that, but there's a slight blue tinge right here all the way around the brake rotor. This is the back of the brake rotor. This is the front. Same line, blue tinge right there in the center, because these are one piston brakes. So now we're gonna get straight into the brand new brake. They are labeled, so if you swap them up, you're gonna mess up your brake pads and they're not gonna work correctly, and you're gonna mess up your brake rotors as well. All right, and just like any brake rotor that you get, whether that's performance, non-performance, they do have a slight oil coating on them. So you are going to want to get some brake cleaner. I just got some CarQuest brake cleaner. As far as I know, CarQuest hasn't diluted their recipe and made it ineffective, because a lot of other brands have. So shake it up, give it a nice coating, get rid of all that, that nasty oil, baby. Look at that cross hatching on here. That is pretty. I like that. All right, so we have the brake rotor up here. I'm gonna give it one more splash of, because I accidentally put my greasy fingers all over. All right, guys, so these are the brake pads, the box. There is a bed-in procedure, so if you want to look at that, go ahead and pause the video. All right. Got the hardware, which is great, and then of course you have your carbon fiber ceramic brake pads for the front of the vehicle. Then of course your brake pad squealers, and they do include some ceramic synthetic brake component lubricant. But I also have some synthetic brake part lubricant that is high temperature. This is their high temperature version, but I might just use the Powerstop one because, you know, it's already here. All right, guys, so after you push your brake caliper in with either a clamp or any other method that you find out, make sure to open the reservoir before you do that, so the fluid has somewhere to go other than the other caliber or brakes and causes issues. We are going to clean our glide pins, so we're going to go ahead and hit these with some brake cleaner and get a rag and wipe those off. We're going to do that for both, and then we're going to reapply it with some of this stuff. Cleaning these off gives you a opportunity to check the rubber gaskets that are on these, because these can rip, tear, and cause issues which will affect brake performance overall. So if these are ripped or torn, you may want to look into getting new glide bolts. This is only going to be on the top bolt, so I do recommend you keep an eye on that. Now we are going to replace the hardware that is back here, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that and then replace it with the brand new hardware. It is caked in crap. Ugh. I might also get a metal wire brush and go ahead and clean this up, because yeah, that's disgusting. All right, I took the brake rotor off so y'all have a better view. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm not gonna use the carbon ceramic for this stuff. I'm gonna use the high temperature synthetic brake lubricant that I got from Advance. I'm just gonna put some on my finger, and then I'm gonna rub it inside of the new hardware, so then the brake pad can slide back and forth as needed. A little bit more on my finger and put it on the top one. There we go. Now, another advantage to these pads is that they are low dust, so you will not be cleaning your wheels as much, which is a good thing, which is what I've complained the most about with the Advance Auto Parts brand. All right, for the rear pad installation, we're going to make sure that it matches up with the, of course, curvature of the brake rotor, and then we're going to slide it into those two new hardware, new greased hardware parts that we just installed. Lovely. There we go. Like that. There. Make sure the brake rotor is up against it. There we go. Okay, then you're going to want to go ahead and put in your caliper. Guys, I've been having trouble getting the brake pad on. See that? That has to go into a hole. This is set in. This isn't. So if this isn't set into the hole, it will not let you put the brake pads or the brake caliper on. Make sure that you line up the hole on the back of on the back of this metal piece to the back of the brake pad, because otherwise you will have a hard time getting this on. All right, now since I fixed that issue, these came on really, really easy. I was like really concerned there for a second. I was thinking that they didn't fit, even though I know I've done this before. So you get your glide bolts, move the brake line out the way, go ahead and slide those in, boom, get the bottom one, go ahead, oh wait, make sure this rubber is right. So the rubber boot came off, these just pop back on. It is not that big of a deal. It'll be a bigger deal if I ripped it or tore it. Boom. All right, glide bolts are in. We're gonna go ahead and tighten this up. All right, now since they're both snug, I'm gonna tighten. Just give them a good old tight down. All right, that ain't going nowhere. All right, and there we go, guys. We have our brand new rotor and pads on here. I'm gonna go do the other side off camera, pump them up, and then I'll meet y'all. Well, it is getting kind of dark, but I should meet y'all when I'm bedding these in. All right, guys, so it is about a day later, and we are out here with the Mirage at the same spot. We're gonna be doing the 40-0 testing the same way we did the stock brakes, doing the thermal test and seeing if there's any improvement at all. I'm expecting at least a 10-foot difference. Let's get straight into it.
Would you like to be my neighbor?
All right, guys, so the first brake run test, got 130, got 100, 120, 130. About 130, 130. All right, and we stopped at right over 50 feet, so about 53 feet for the first test run. Let's go to the second. All right, and here's our second brake run. Let's get our temperature. Got 150 degrees, 150. 160, 130, 160, 170, 150. So I'd say between 150 and 160 degrees for that second brake run. Let's move on to the third. All right, third test run. It's at about 160, 150. Definitely a lot cooler. Now, as for performance, we're sitting at about 62 feet, which is weird. This happened on the other brakes as well when I had them on my 2019. They, for some reason, midway through the brake test run, they have like a streak where they go super long, and then on the final run, 150, 170, 190, 160, 170, 180. On the final run, they tend to fix themselves. I don't know, these things usually do better with the heat. But that's the third run, 62 feet. Let's go on to the final test.
Hey guys, I just wanted to cut in real quick. I noticed that these brakes work a lot better with heat in them. So as the brake runs are going, there are very similar results to the previous brake runs with the stock brakes. But as you see in this next brake run with heat in them, you'll see a big difference.
All right, guys. So that was the fourth and final brake run. Let's see what our temperatures are sitting at. 150. About one, yeah, very consistent. 150. And 170, 180, 160, 170, 180, 160. And we're sitting right at 40 feet on the brake run, which is 10 feet better than the best run from the stock brakes, which is really weird because they were just all the way up there, and then this time they were all the way back here. So, I mean, consistency is a questionable thing, but as far as temperature consistency, these brakes haven't even hit 200 degrees. on the 4th brake run. And it just like with the 2019 Mirage, it absolutely shocked me. So I'm gonna go to a quieter location and give y'all my final thoughts on these brakes. All right, guys, I am completed with today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe button. I'm gonna tell y'all, these brakes right here stay way cooler than the stock brakes that you get from Mitsubishi, and even cooler than the Duralast brakes, because that even surprised me. With the Duralast pads, the brakes were cooler than the OEM Mitsubishi pads, which is very weird. But unlike the Duralast brakes, these stayed below 200 degrees. By the time they were getting close to 200 degrees, you saw that massive difference at the end where they were basically stopping in under 50 feet. These brakes are meant to get hot, and when they get hot, that's when their performance shines. Otherwise, they're just like your everyday bare basic pad. And unlike everybody else that drives a Mirage, I drive my Mirage hard, so I need something that isn't going to fade and is going to perform under tough circumstances in the corners and hills and the mountains, everywhere possible. That's why I put BC Racing coilovers on this. That's why I put a rear sway bar, and that's also why I put on today's brakes. So guys, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for future content, make sure to leave a comment if you have any ideas for future videos, and I will see y'all later.